Hey everybody, it's Michael with backtothefuturetrading.com. We're going to go through another weekly outlook here, starting with the E-mini S&P using the predictive power of Tachyon Warp. Tachyon Warp goes back and looks at patterns in the historical data to analyze when banks are likely to push markets up or down in the future based on the signals that are appearing to the right of the vertical line right here. So today is December 22nd, coming into the end of the year, and we're just picking up where we left off with the last outlook, looking at the indicator. I'll go ahead and take the white line off here, and we'll see that since our last video we had two moves of significance. Number one, we had the November 15th move that we saw here into the highest highs of the year, and then we saw the December 8th move right here at the selling pressure signal. And so what's interesting is that when we're in the selling phase, you'll see that people are trying to go higher, but they don't have the institution's permission. And so it's typical to see wicks larger on the top and dojis and things like that, because this is where stop runs are occurring. Banks are essentially shorting into these moves and basically selling at a premium price down into the time where the next up move is expected. And so the software warned us on the 17th to look for a reversal of that move, and you see that by one day here, actually on the 20th, on the Monday, it's been moving upwards ever since, and now we're steadily working our way back up towards the highs until the 6th of January. So the ES right now, open window until the 6th of January, most likely to come back up into those highs before then. All right, let's take a look at the lower time frames. We'll come back down to an hourly chart here. We'll go ahead and clear away our drawing tools. And so now on the 1 hour chart of the E-mini S&P, you see that this current phase right here coming in towards the end of the year, we have the times coming up on the right hand side. Quite a bit of rallying off of the buying pressure signals. So I'll just go ahead and put some white arrows here. As you see, this was the last push up into that stop run that we mentioned a moment ago. It wasn't time for the market to go higher, and then the sellers were basically in control. The trend had reversed, and we were looking for signals with trend, like the signal at 3 o'clock, the signal at 10 o'clock, the signal at 9 o'clock Eastern in the Globex session, and we fell down straight into the 45.20s. And here's where something very interesting happens. We see this double bottom, and when we arrive at the signal here at 3 o'clock, do you notice this is one of the first blue signals where we start going higher as opposed to lower? So when you see this, it's telling us, hey, the banks were supposed to sell here, and they did nothing but climb and climb and climb. So right here, this signaled the reversal of the trend in the S&P. And so now we're back up above the moving average, and you can see the times for the next few days here going into Christmas and beyond. If you want to pause the chart and take a look, you can see those times waiting for us on the right hand side. But as of right now, this was the trend reversal right here at 45.27. Let's scoot down to the 5-minute chart. We'll take a look at the signals for the US morning session today on Wednesday. And you can see, let's see, yep, there's the entirety of the day coming up. So you have the first two signals of the day, selling pressure at 3:30, but again, the trend is up, and so we expect that the London Open here and we get this very nice rally up out of the signal at 440, and now we have the buying and selling pressure signals for Wednesday all the way out into the close at 4 o'clock Eastern. Let's go ahead and take a look at a forex pair while we're here. Starting at the lower end and working our way back up to the higher time frames, we see on the 5-minute chart there is a reversal of trend, and so no absolute failures here. The trend was down all in the evening in the Globex session, and we worked our way lower and lower and lower, and then these signals have just sort of been, since the Asian session, kind of ping-ponging, down at 155, up at 320, down at 320 into 355, up at 455, and then we have this reaccumulation phase right here where the market goes into a channel. You might call that a bull flag, and then up again with trend at 520 predicted by the indicator down below into a new high at 545. And so as we extend that analysis out into the close today, you can see the times coming up on the right hand side, alerting us to the predictive moves of the institutions. Let's go ahead and move out to the 60. The 60 is really locked into the signals here, with the euro kind of in on the larger time frame in a channel of sorts. We'll take a look, and you'll see here as we kind of draw the channel from top to bottom, and then almost always with the channel there's middle resistance levels. So if we just sort of stretch it out here, I'll pull it out, and this will give us a good sense of what to look out for. And so along the euro now for the next several days, we'll kind of pull this out so you can see the signals coming up on the right hand side from the 23rd through the 28th. The next 5 days are waiting for us here. But as of Wednesday today, we see that rejection of the midline of this channel right here at 5 a.m. 11 a.m. is the next push point here. So I think we just hit that level here a little while ago. Next buying pressure time is 11 a.m. into 1 a.m. on today's Wednesday, Thursday morning. So the rest of the times after that following. It's interesting to note though that the settings for the indicator here, which are default, are picking up these signals pretty clearly, I think, and catching these moves as they occur in real time. Let's stretch it out to the daily and see what's going on the upside. Yep, sure enough, we're still down in that sell-off period on the euro dollar. Signals with trend we mentioned in the last video are still here, and we're still in that sell-off from the 12th of November into January 6th. And so even though we're starting to see sort of this bottom and this weird channel right here, that sell-off isn't finished until January 6th. So this level right here, I wouldn't be surprised if it's reattacked before the 6th, where I expect another signal up. And if you look at where those signals were predicted on the euro, you do see there was a reaction at those times. And so that type of a signal is waiting for us over here on the 6th. I'm going to load up a crypto chart now. We'll take a look at Ethereum, the predictive times for Ethereum, and see what's going on that highest time frame. If you're a customer using the software, I want to show you that there's a departure here on Ethereum from the default settings. Instead of looking at a 714 for the source days, I'm looking at a 1, a 2, and a 3 for the source days on Ethereum for this daily chart. That seems to be the pattern that the banks are following. And in this case, if you look at a 1, 2, 3 pattern, which is something we'll explain to you as a customer if you don't own the software, the last high came in on November 30th and has been pushing down since then. There was a push up from November 23rd until November 30th, and you can sort of see that's where the market peters out. We don't form a new high. Now, that next launch up, according to this chart, which has a fairly decent lock on the behavior patterns of the institutions here, that next run up is coming on the 27th of December. So 5 days from now, next Monday, that's what we're looking for, looking at a 1, 2, 3 on Ethereum on the daily. And then beyond that, we expect that run to last until the 17th of January, where that next push down is expected. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lower time frame and see what's going on the 60. On the 60, using that same parameter choice, the 1, 2, 3 look back, you'll see here that we're still locked in, and there's this really interesting push up where we sort of have a series of higher highs and higher lows kicking in, starting back here on the 20th. And so if we stretch that out on the hourly time frame on the chart for Ethereum, we see a push up here now for the next several hours into the open, some more consolidation, and then a lot of resistance here at 12 o'clock. When you have signals like this clustered together as closely as they are, this is generally a precursor for chop. And so we see kind of markets rising up into the open, some back and forth, and then a potential high of day around 12 o'clock. The next push up occurring 7 o'clock this evening, Wednesday, December 22nd. Let's go down to the 5-minute chart and see what's going on there. Okay, we're getting some nice back and forth on Ethereum on the 5-minute chart. We'll pull it out here and take a look and see what the times are for the rest of the day. I'm just going to move it over so you can see for your analyses for the rest of the day into the close. These are all the buying and selling pressure times, again using a 1, 2, 3 look back, which is essentially monitoring the behavior patterns of the institutions over the last several days. And these are the times where those moves are starting to occur. So we'll go ahead and let you hit pause here to look at those times for the rest of today and take a look at some stocks. I'm going to use that same 1, 2, 3 look back that we saw on the Ethereum chart. Again, showing you my settings so you can see what's going on if you have the software. And we see that with Tesla, the window has just opened up again on the 16th. The last time that buying window occurred was on the 15th of November, and then right over here on the 20th of October. So that window now is expected to last until the new year on December 31st. And one of the things that we can do when we look at this chart is perform what's called an exertion analysis. And so what I'm going to do is just look and see how far did banks push when they pushed in the direction of the trend. And I'm going to go here and just take a look at every one of the buying pressure signals and just make a note as to how far that rally went using these time signatures. And now what I'm able to do is just sort of come here and on the close of that candle put a harvest of those triangles and get a feel for how far they've moved. And we see that there are 3 areas that Tesla's likely to go to before the 31st. Number 1, you have these clusters of triangles here. That's the first cluster. Then you have the midline and then the outlier. So at the very least, before the 31st, we're expecting it to get back up into the 978 area. then there's a very good possibility of it coming into the 1049, and if for some reason it rallies as high as it has in the past before the 31st, there's an opportunity for it to get back up into the 1250 to 1290 area on Tesla. So 1231 is the high, and then the next rally day is on the 13th of January. Let's take a look at another stock. All right, using those same settings on Amazon, we see that Mr. Bezos left us with a channel here to work with a high and a low. It's not even worth looking at the moving average in this example because Amazon really isn't trending, so we'll go ahead and turn that trend filter off, and we'll see here that we're pretty much bouncing at the high and low of the range. And so the dates that were important, let's kind of work our way around and see where the timing signals were. Sometimes drawing these arrows can be really helpful, I find. The next signal up is on December 29th, and so wherever we are in relation to that trend line, I'll just come here and pull a 50% to take a look at where kind of the middle of that is, and you can see we're finding support at 34.36 with resistance up in this area here. I would look for support coming into the 29th, either a close above this mid-level or a pullback down, just 31.90. Let's take a look at one of my favorite stocks lately because I really like the Bronco that they came out with, and that's our buddy over here at Ford. And we'll see that the rally ran out of steam right on time. The signal here on the 16th, putting in a minor pivot, and so we did have a high of year here up around the $21 mark, 21.38. You can see we open on the 22nd and we rally and we rally and we rally. We pull back. The banks are saying that's it for now. This is the day we take profits. The next buying pressure signal for Ford occurs on a daily chart for options, calls, and puts and things like that on the 30th of December going into the new year. Rally point after that being the January 19th. Finally, where would we be without everybody's golden child, Apple, Tim Cook, the gang over there with the whichevers, the iCars, the iStoves, the iWatches. That rally point on December 6th expired. You can see here that's the last time we see a buying pressure signal on December 6th up into December 14th, where again institutions are taking profit for the year on Amazon. The next time we see a rally point is the 23rd, which is tomorrow, Thursday, and that lasts, pardon me, that lasts until January 4th. And so these predictive times are really awesome in that they give us a heads up as to the embedded institutional buying and selling behavior times, and lets us know in the future what to look for. So this is the Tachyon Warp program. We've looked at cryptocurrencies like Ethereum. We've looked at indices like the E-mini S&P. We looked at the Eurodollar, Ford, Apple, Tesla, and the results are more or less the same. We see that just a small change in the indicator settings, and we teach you what to look for. There are actually 2 or 3 different settings that encompass most of the markets, and you can use one of those settings on everything you're looking at to give us a perspective. What do institutions have in charge, in plan for us, rather, in store? And can we be ready and prepare for it? And at the very least, not be on the wrong side of the trade and maybe let an opportunity go that could have hurt us, and wait for an opportunity that will go in our direction almost immediately. Thanks again. We'll get this published so you can get a look at it here this morning on December 22nd on a Wednesday. If I don't hear from you, have a wonderful holiday, and we'll see you on the other side. Remember also, it's our end of year sale, so email me or get in touch with us at backtothefuturetrading.com to find out how you can have this software for yourself for the lowest prices of the year.